DJ for this evening,
Cherry McDonald.
This is rock and roll radio.
Listening to Live Now Die Later with Jamie.
Somebody told me so. Those things I should have known. But when I've been untold, speaks volumes of what I should have known. Not easy to be to blame. Don't shout about your fame. Stature don't come with a claim. It's not the time to play those games. It's not the time to play those games. I won't need to claim a mistake on what is mine. It won't come down to what's on that dotted line. The facts of it all come with smiles and thinking true. What about you? What about you? Why should I feel so low? Thinking estranged bespoke. Come to terms with being plain. It's not the time to play those games. It's not the time to play those games. I won't need to claim a stake on what is mine. It won't come down to what's on that dotted line. The facts of it all come with smiles and thinking true. What about you? What about you? Mistake on what is mine. It won't come down to what's on that dotted line. The facts of it all come with smiles and thinking true. What about you? What about you? What about you? What about you?
Yo, this is Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses.
Hey, this is Ozzy Osbourne.
Hi, this is Kelly Osbourne.
Hey, it's Jack Osbourne.
Hello, this is Brian May of Queen.
Hello, kiddies. This is Alice Cooper.
Hi, this is Trey Cool of Green Day.
This is Diamond David Lee Roth.
Hi, everyone. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Hi, this is David Bowie.
Hi, this is Dave Mustaine of Megadeth.
Yeah. Vince Neil from that band Motley Crue.
Hi, this is Paul McCartney.
Hello, I'm Phil Collins.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
Hi, this is Joe Elliott from Def Leppard.
Hey, this is John Bon Jovi.
I'm Roger Daltrey.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Hi, this is Joe Satriani.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe McDowell, and this is...
Live now, die there, live now, die there, live now, die there, live now, die there.
Let's go!
Last night a little dancer came dancing to my door. Last night a little angel came pumping
welcome back to the Live No Die Radio Show with me, Jim McDonald. A very special show tonight. I have got a very special guest in the studio, Mr. Guy Spell, of course, Mr. Buddy Guy. Coming very soon. We started off with a vocal Teddy Bears, Somebody Taught Me So. Then we had Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. This is Danny Brett featuring Walter Trout from his 2016 album, Blood Money, and it's that track itself, it's Blood Money. Right here, right now on the Found Hour. Don't be.
How came the rain today that fell upon the place you lay? A rose of thorns placed on your grave. Nothing to do or say as you travel on your way. Except harder came the rain on your grave. I will not miss your touch, all that burns your flesh and blood. You always hurt the ones you love. Nothing to do or say as you travel on your way. Hard came the rain on your grave. Sometimes I feel so ashamed, but I'm sick and tired of feeling that way. You can keep your guilt and leave here running blood money. Tired eyes don't get no sleep. The lies you told just make me weak. Now silence fills your empty seat. Nothing to do or say as you cry your tears of shame. Hard came the rain on your grave. Keep on running through my head, standing ugly by my bed.
listening to Live Now, Die Later with Jamie.
Shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Hey little sister, who is it you're with? Sister, what's your vice wish? Hey little sister, shotgun, oh yeah. Hey little sister, who's your Superman? Hey little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Ow. Sister, what have you done? Hey little sister, who's the only one? I've been away for so long. I've been away for so long. I let you go for so long. It's a nice day to start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Wow! There is nothing fair in this world. There is nothing safe in this world. And there's nothing sure in this world. And there's nothing pure in this world. Look for something left in this world. Start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. Whoa, it's a nice day to start again. Nice day to start again.
You're listening to Live Now, Die Later with Jamie.
This is Who's Power?
If it's too loud, you're too old.
When I was young, I stayed in line. I didn't do no midnight creeping. When I was young, I stayed in line. Didn't do no midnight creeping. My mama had a broomstick beside the bed. Let me tell you, it wasn't for sweeping. Didn't learn nothing from a book. No, I never took a lesson. I didn't learn nothing from a book. No, I never took a lesson. When it comes to the blues, I do my own kind of messing. The blues done turned me wild. It's got deep inside my soul. The blues done turned me wild. It's got deep down in my soul. Yeah. I get like an old hound dog waiting on a rabbit's hole. Pick how they remember you. You just hope someday they do. You can't pick how people remember you. You just hope someday they do. But I still got more to say. People, I ain't never through. Turn me wild, got deep down in my soul. Let me tell you, hey, the blues done turned me wild, dug deep inside my soul. I'm like an old hound dog, waiting on a rabbit hole. Turn me wild, got deep inside my soul. I said, blues done turn me wild, got deep down in my soul. Blues done turn me wild, yes it has. Got deep inside my soul.
Finally, he has just come into the studio. He is living and surviving the Chicago Blues. He was at 75 years of age at the White House, playing his Stratocaster guitar in that blues style for Mr. and Mrs. Obama, of course, President Obama. 7 decades ago, George Buddy Guy was a world away. Growing up in Letchworth, Louisiana, his family was too poor to purchase an electric guitar. He rigged an alternative with windscreen wire.
I started stealing screen wire from my mom. We didn't have running water, naturally we didn't have electric lights. So I would steal that and try to pull it tight enough so I could hear. And I remember my dad's friend says, Guy, that boy got some fingers. If he get a guitar one day, he'd probably be a good one.
He got the guitar and was more successful than a good one. Today owns the Chicago Blues Club legends but he has told the story on how he made his success.
First thing I ever learned how to play was this. And guess what? I was out on the wood pile. My sisters had ran me out the house and told my mom and dad, say, I'm tired of that noise.
That comes with a nice story of the Chicago blues tradition. Mr. Buddy Guy came over to Chicago in 1957 as the Black Majority North, playing with such musicians as Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, creating a new electric sound in the blues.
If you went walking down 47th Street on a summer night, there was a bar here, there was a bar there. On each side of the street, the doors would open. These local guys, some of them didn't even stay around long enough to get a name, and they were sounding so good, you said, this must be Wolf.
So you must have learned quite a bit of an education with that.
Oh, I learned so much from that. Trust me.
Guy made his name as a Cinderella performer.
Well, I'm going to prove myself because everybody was sitting down, as I said earlier. I said, I'm going to stand up and somebody's going to pay attention to me.
You just laid it on down and put on a show.
Put it on the show, yeah. I used to lay all down, kick it with my feet and lay flat on my back and put it under me and my back and still could hit a few licks.
Did some recordings for Chess Records back in the day, but it didn't work for the musicians. Do you want to tell us why?
When I first went in there, they would just put my name on a record and I'm like saying, and they would say, well, I made you. Even the disc jockey was saying, if I play your record, I make it. You got to play for me free. And I did that a lot, you know, and finally I said, I can't eat that, you know, and I was like really hungry.
So do you feel like people was taking a bit of an advantage of you?
Well, they was.
It was in the 1960s that the blues became more popularised, and you met such people as Eric Clapton, David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie, yeah.
Basically, everybody classes as rock musicians, but in your day, it wasn't known as rock, it was known as R&B.
We didn't have rock. Everything was an R&B player. It's still MUSIC, regardless of how you, all music.
She had the nerve to put me out.
Rock musicians, in a way, stole the art form and made a lot more money. Buddy Guy says this when I asked him.
Some of the guitar players that make more money in one night than I do in 10 years, they did me a favor. They did all of us a favor. The Rolling Stones, the Eric Claptons, and people like that have Ike and Tina Turner, B.B. King and myself. They came back in and told the white audience who we were. Because a lot of white people wasn't listening to no blues 50 years ago.
Well, that's where the club comes in. Buddy Guy wants to keep the tradition flowing. So sometimes he will be at the club, if not on the road touring, signing autographs. Sometimes he will jump on stage and perform.
Now one leg was in the east and one leg was in the west.
He said everybody can connect with the blues.
I've had people in Australia, Africa say, oh, blues, it's sad. And I remember once I was checking into a hotel in New York, just getting to go to New York, and the receptionist looked at me and said, oh, blues, it's sad. And it was a husband and wife, and I gave them a ticket to my concert, and they come out the next morning and say, it's not sad.
So what did you say it is, buddy?
It's a part of life. If you pay attention to what some of the great writers write about, it's, how can you say B.B. King's record, I got a sweet little angel, I love the way she spreads her wing. How could that be sad?
Let me love you, baby. Let me love you, baby.
What's going to happen to you then, buddy? Just going to continue?
Well, you know, blues musicians don't retire, they drop. I love what I'm doing, and you know, the world is so mad now at everybody. If I do something to make people smile, I'm going to say, I got you. For that moment, if it don't last, I made you forget about the other thing you might have been thinking of. Anytime.
strong. I tried to do you right,
but you left me all alone. Well, too many nights, too many tears.
Too many tears.
Oh, I cried in vain.
Cried in vain.
Oh, too many tears.
Too many tears.
Oh,
Falling down just like rain.
just like rain. Too many tears. When I needed you more, emptiness was all I got.
I'm not gonna cry no more. I'm shedding my last teardrop. Oh, too many doggone tears. Everything is gonna be okay, baby. Both of us will survive.
Let's be thankful for the love we shared.
And not those tears we cried.
Too many tears.
Too many tears.
I cried in vain.
Cried in vain.
Too many tears.
Too many tears. Falling down
Just like rain. Oh, there's too many tears.
Too many tears. Yes, it is.
Oh, I cried in vain.
Cried in vain.
Oh, too many tears.
Too many tears. Falling down just like rain. Too many tears. Too many tears. Listen to the dropping rain. Oh, the fall. Just like rain. Thirsty beggar written on the door. That bucket of blood stayed open till 4. Ain't hard to find a great big neon sign. They only serve 3 things: whiskey, beer, and wine. Hardwood bar, rickety stools, cigarette machine, selling camels and coos. You can solve your problems one drink at a time. You can fix anything over whiskey, beer, and wine. Kept the lights down low, icing down the long necks till they was nice and cold. Or you could sit down and order about love waste your mind. taste of my medication? Come on, have one with me. In the good old days, the Howling Wolf, we call it ignorant oil. It do make you kind of ignorant sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? It's on my mind. Let's get beer and wine.
That was Buddy Guy. So who did you learn everything from?
People I learned everything from. She's got every award that I get now, from Guitar Slim to T-Bone Walker, Muddy. But they didn't give blues players the awards that we get today. And I didn't learn nothing from the book. I learned everything by listening to Muddy and them. I was Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I graduated to high school. And my mother taking a stroke, and I got about 3 months, and then I had to go back to the farm. I'm the oldest boy. I couldn't get a high school education. But I did go to the music teacher. And I said, I want to take music. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll get you book one. And I had a 78 on Muddy Waters. I said, I got book one. And I shook at it. He put it on the turntable. He said, I can't teach you that. I said, well, forget you, then I can't come to your class. I didn't want no book one, man. I want book Muddy.